What's up? We are back with another session, session 7 of Thoughts Out Loud. The moment of my morning routine where I kind of sit down and just think things through, kind of do some self reflection about the day before, the days prior, and really just kind of think out loud about what I'll end up doing, what I should make the focus today. Um, that's going to go away. That part of it's going to go away very soon one day. I hope I want to get to the point where I'm not planning out what I'm going to do to that day, that morning. But I think since I don't have things planned out yet, the morning's not started yet. I was actually listening to a podcast episode this week and earlier this week, and it was Pat Flynn and Chris Ducker talking about how they schedule everything. I hate that thing. I'm starting to really hate that thing. I wonder how well that's popping up. Anyway, Thoughts Out Loud is the last time I turned it off, it leaked all over the floor. So I think we're gonna just let it run for now. But Pat Flynn and Chris Ducker were talking about what they do as far as scheduling. Like they schedule everything. They have their schedules planned out, mapped out weeks in advance, and things like that. And it really does sound like that. It helps with. It sounds like it helps with planning and kind of having some cohesion between your content, like having themed weeks and themed months, even just where when your content kind of comes back and when it is related to some of your other content, you can kind of put those things together and piggyback the content off one another, or those pieces of content off one another. Um, I want to do that so bad. I think it helps with consistency and again coherent and cohesive stuff. And then plus, if like you're gonna be doing a special on, or if you're gonna be doing a focus on a certain topic, for example, if I'm gonna be doing a focus on, let's just say wintertime. It's wintertime now. If I had been planning ahead, I could be planning out so many things with wintertime. If I found things coming up to wintertime, like coming up in the springtime or in the fall, excuse me. If I found things coming up in the fall, or if I ran across things that were winter related coming up in the fall, I could have kind of slotted that and saved it together and got it together to kind of create or to come back and readdress during the winter months. I should have really, really thought that through. I can kind of do it to a certain extent, but yeah, I really wish I really wish I had implemented this the first time I started to do it, because I actually started this a while ago. I was going to, or I mentioned it in the previous Thoughts Out Loud session. Good, go off. I was gonna move that thing. Oh, that's in the wrong place. But yeah, in a previous Thoughts Out Loud session, I mentioned that I have a calendar that I riffed off Pat Flynn, and the plan was to plan things out, schedule things out with that calendar. Things haven't worked out, but an important thing about what's going on this week, or important aspect of this week, is I'm on vacation. Oh God, it couldn't have came at a better time. I am so psyched to not be going to work this week, and I'm going back to work next week, and I'm off the week after that. So we got some things in the works that should kind of help out and help do things planned. Oh wow, there's a lot to talk about today. Um, but yeah, since I'm on vacation, I want to try this week, like without work, to actually stick to the plan. Now that's going to be a little hard because my son's on vacation too, and we got things planned, so it's going to be a little hard to kind of work things through. But I don't think it's definitely not impossible, especially if I wake up early during the weekdays, because we're all going to sleep a little late. My son's bedtime is usually 9 o'clock. We start winding him down at 9 o'clock. He's 6 years old, so he should be in bed probably a little bit earlier. But 9 o'clock, him going to sleep. 10 o'clock on vacation times or days where he doesn't have school. So this week he's going to sleep at 10 o'clock, which means he won't be waking up at 7, which is what time it is now, 7:30. Um, but things work out. I think we can work things out. I'm sure we can work things out this week to where we get a lot of things done, a lot of things planned. One thing I'd like to take a look at this week, I guess I'll talk about that tomorrow, because I don't need to necessarily hit that. Hey, we are 5 minutes in. So one thing I want to experiment with this week or test out this week is batch batch creation, like batch filing, batch. I guess batch creation is right. I want to create like multiple instances of my podcast, multiple videos, and plan those to kind of get dropped out earlier or later, during the month or during the next month. So what I really want to do is I want to create. I have an idea of creating like how-to videos, and I want to go ahead and I just want to create this week. I want to get this. I want to rip the Band-Aid off this, or rip the uncomfort Band-Aid off my shoulder, because there's still some discomfort. It's why I'm doing Thoughts Out Loud. There's still a lot of discomfort when like hitting the record button and being on camera, and so I don't know why that is. Just because I'm so dodgy in the way I communicate. It's like I'm always like starting a sentence and then I don't like the way that one started off. Let me go ahead and go back and restart it. And it's I have it. It happens all the time, and so it's kind of part of the way I communicate. I kind of want to fix it. Maybe I should really go and like talk to some speech therapists or something like that, or talk to some speech coaches, and see what they have to say about it. That wouldn't be a bad idea, a bad thing to look into. What I definitely what I've done to address the issues so far is just start recording more. I mean, this again, Thoughts Out Loud is just another example of just me. Just make it something relaxing, make it something super informal. Just hit the record button and go. Don't turn crap off when it comes on in the background. Don't make changes. Do less editing, and just get it out there. Because once you get used to it, I think once you get used to it, you just get better at it. And so, yeah, I mean, even my podcast, like since I don't do it often enough, like I'm supposed to do it once a week. Since I don't do it once a week, or since I don't make it to it once a week, it like takes this rhythm that I have to get into. I have to keep going for a while. I have to, like, really, I think I can start my podcast off just talking. And I was doing this before and I stopped doing it. But I used to do a precast on Facebook and just talk about topics that lead or relate to the topic of the podcast. And then by that time I got warmed up and I'd get on a podcast, and the podcast would be a much better product. Excuse me. Man, I've been sick the last few days. Remnants of sick. But yeah, just I would get to the point where I have to warm up. And seriously, it never comes on that often. I swear to God. But yeah, so it's getting to the point where I have to get warmed up. And I think when I do things like this, this is my podcast setting. This is my podcast setup, obviously. And if for one, what I wanted to do was just set it up in a corner of a room where it's just up. It's just there. And when I podcast, I actually turn my refrigerator off. But that kind of helps me get together. That kind of helps it where I just can sit down and just go. And this is like my YouTube setup a little bit. I gotta make some changes. You can see the white up there, and the wall down back behind here. I think I want to go ahead and further develop more panels to kind of block all that out and just make the whole corner, probably the whole thing, covered. Yeah, stops all the sound from reflecting off too. So yeah, that's what I got. Batch file creation. Batch creation is what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna focus on this week. So I'm going to create multiple YouTube videos, multiple podcast episodes, and then just schedule them out to go for the next few weeks because I got plenty of time to do so. The problem with batch creation is you gotta come up with the content, and if I had been planning it out week by week or month by month, then I would be able to do. It would be so simple. I would have everything planned out. I would have so many things to talk about. So what I'll probably do, like I actually jump in and do some brainstorming and some mind mapping. And one of the things that I came up when I was brainstorming and mind mapping is tutorials on everything I've asked my wife to do for me here in Korea. I want to put that to paper and or put that, put some actual structure behind that, and then go ahead and create those batch files, like batch create all these tutorials that I want to do. So coming up with 4 won't be a problem. I mean, things on the phone, things in person, things like that. So I'm so pissed at that thing. So yeah, batch creation and scheduling is the main focus of this week. I really, really want to improve my consistency. So hopefully this helps. This will help, but I think really what it is, I have to plan out my week a little bit better than what is planned out now, a lot better than what is planned out now, because we got to do some of that preparation for the content creation days. I think that's what really goes on. So yeah, that's all I got. I think I'll come back to preparation for content creation tomorrow, because that's something that's real. That's something that's a real problem, or something that's I always find myself like kind of scampering, or scattered. What is it? I don't know. I find myself flustered and trying to get things in order right before my wife leaves, or right before I get the house to myself, and it'll be ideal time to create. And yeah, we'll come back to that tomorrow. So that's it for another thoughts out loud. Is there anything else I want to do? The focus is already put out there, so that'll be about it. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with sessions 8 of Thoughts Out Loud. Have a good one.